All right, LaVar, are you confident that Dak is ready to rock and roll against the Bucs and Tom Brady?
I'm confident that he'll play against the Bucs. Whatever rock and roll means, I think we can all define what rock and roll is. That's going to be unique to whatever your interpretation of rock and roll. He could be ready to play and get rocked and rolled against Tampa Bay, or he could get out there and they could have been pulling the wool over our eyes the entire time, and he really does rock and roll over top of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's the point of this conversation. We don't know. I heard something very interesting today. Shouts out to my man Brady Quinn. He gave me such a great take on the Dak Prescott injury. Do you realize that if you take a look at his injury, he injured his left ankle, fractured, dislocated. When you're throwing the ball, you know what foot you have to really, really dig deep into when you throw the ball? Your plant foot. When you go back, when you stick it in the ground, when you torque to throw the ball. And you know what? If you're not confident in that part of your body, you will find somewhere else that will compensate. It might have been his knee that started hurting. It might have been his hip. It might have been his back. In this case, Dak Prescott has overcompensated with his shoulder. And it's on the throwing side where his injury, the same side that the injury took place. He's not all the way right. And that injury tells us very clearly that he's not all the way right or he's not all the way confident. It could be a little of both. But he's willing to push through the pain. Now, him being willing to push through the pain will ultimately tell us this season. He's either able to work through the pain and the discomfort or the lack of trust in what took place, or just the altered body of the physiology of his ankle after that injury, because that was a real injury. We're going to learn if he's able to get through that and still be a player that can make big plays under duress in big games right away against Tampa, or we're going to see someone that we're going to have a whole bunch of questions about, and we'll continue to have the questions as to what will Dak Prescott be for this team? What does this mean for the Dallas Cowboys as a whole for this season? There are going to be a lot of questions answered come week one for the Dallas Cowboys. But will he be out there? I certainly believe he will be out there, and I certainly believe he has just as much of an opportunity to rock and roll on the good side of things versus getting rocked and rolled on the bad side of it.
Boy, LaVar coming out with all these big words, torque and physiology. I'm just going to, listen, I'm not worried about Dak Prescott at all.
Pretty good.
I feel like, Rick, we talked a lot about gambling yesterday. I also like to dabble in the stock market. Dak is such a great buy low stock right now. It's incredible. Like, the guy has his fully healthy offensive line, right? Everybody's healthy according to all the reports out of Dallas. And he's got all his receivers healthy. He's got his running back, Zeke Elliott, and Tony Pollard. Everybody's good to go in Dallas. And what you're going to see here in week one is the line is going to come down a little bit toward Dallas. I think it's 7.5 now. It will come down to 7. I think Dallas is going to be plucky in this game, folks. We know they're not going to be able to run the football, right? Tampa, top 5 run defense in the league. Zeke and Pollard are going to struggle, but that's great news for Dak Prescott, okay? This is a guy who hasn't played football, I believe it's 14 months. He hasn't played since last November. Like, this is a guy who's going to come back strong. His MVP odds are up there. Listen, I know Tampa Bay returns every starter on defense. They are the Super Bowl favorites. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. I really like what Dak's going to show us opening night. And LaVar, you say we don't know? I'm telling you, I do know. They're going to open up a can through the air against this Todd Bowles defense because you can't run on it. And I just want to point out,
it's not very easy to throw on them.
The last time we saw this Tampa defense, they just eviscerated Patrick Mahomes. I think no quarterback was hit in Super Bowl history more. So this Dallas offensive line healthy is huge. I like Dallas in week one to show strong. They'll probably lose the game by 3, but they will put forth a great effort. Dak will be fine.
Oh, Mac, I see what you're doing. I say I'm going to be a ray of optimism, and you decide to be a human stadium bank light of optimism here with the Dallas Cowboys. And you know what the problem is when you look into one of those stadium lights, is you're blinded by the light. And I sense that is what's going on with your prediction when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and your assessment of where they are. LaVar, you said it. And you raised the question, are they pulling the wool over our eyes when it comes to Dak Prescott? Has he just been humming all along? And you know what? Thanks to Hard Knocks being around, we know that not to be the case. They've pulled the wool over our eyes, but it had to do with the health of Dak Prescott. When he first had the strained muscle in his shoulder, it was, yeah, it's no big thing. This is just precautionary. He's going to be out a couple days. And then never quite came clean on what it was until finally we have Dak Prescott missing just about in all of training camp. And now, only in Cowboy land, only in Frisco, does a guy get to the starting line where he should have been weeks ago, and everybody goes, ho, 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 we're ready to rock and roll. We got less than 2 weeks to play the defending champions on the road, and we are ready to rock and roll. That is your stadium bank light of optimism. And J-Mac, I do not understand what you're talking about when it comes to that offensive line. They are still very much trying to sort it out. Are they healthy? I don't know. Connor Williams was just on COVID-19. Does that count? Protocol. Does that count as being healthy? He's not injured. Doesn't mean he's healthy. They're still trying to figure out who their starting center is going to be. Amari Cooper, did he just show up and start practicing? Yes. So they're all healthy. We assume Dak Prescott is some level of healthy, but they're finally healthy, and they're less than 2 weeks away from starting the season. So, no, I'm not confident in Dak Prescott or the Dallas Cowboys rocking and rolling, because I think we know what that means. It means that they're going to be playing at premium level. And there's no way, under the circumstances, that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be doing that week one.
All right, I know LaVar wants to go, but I have to respond to that, Rick. Okay, last segment, you just said, Jameis Winston, 5,000 yards passing. Survey says
No. That was LaVar Arrington. LaVar Arrington pointed that out.
4,900 yards in 2019 when he was healthy. Last year, by the way, did Dak have either of his tackles last year for any games? No. Left tackle, right tackle, both gone. Also, a final note, and LaVar, I know you want to go. How many times has Dak Prescott had a losing record? I hate quarterback wins, but as a losing record as a starter in Dallas? The answer is 0. He's never been under 500. Dak always comes prepared. He's like a Boy Scout. The dude had an awesome year in 2019.
He's never had an injury like this before.
Well, no, I mean, how are we supposed to gauge coming off an injury? He hasn't played football in forever. I think it's smart that they're holding him out.
You're right.
I'm glad you just indicted yourself.
It would be a reason not to be a stadium bank light of optimism.
So you want to be pessimistic because he was injured last year?
There you go.
Is that the statute of limitations? Like 1 year off, we don't know how they're coming back. Jeez, you know, Peyton Manning had a neck surgery. How did he bounce back in Denver? I don't remember. Oh, he was incredible, and he set records all over the place.
So now we've made Dak Prescott.
Now Dak
big
Prescott
quarterback injury where you miss it.
Now we have made Dak Prescott Peyton Manning.
Gosh, you guys are making me out to be the bad guy.
Hey, Rick, what did you say the best part or the only way you can be totally ready, is if you're totally what?
Yeah, no. Definition of ready.
Right.
Is fully prepared.
Okay, thank you.
You're ready.
So
you're fully prepared.
So fully prepared. We're saying that Dak Prescott, which, by the way, he did have a losing season. When he went out of the season at the point in time that he left,
5 games.
He was 2-3. He was 2-3. And I say, were they
Sounds
trending?
Like a losing season to me.
Were they trending in the right direction when he went out with that injury? Was it really going to be much better for the season if Dak Prescott had continued on? Didn't look like it to me. I don't know. We'll never know. But they were 2-3 when he left.
I think that question's for J-Mac, not me.
All right, yeah. So here we go.
You want me to answer that? With no offensive line?
I know the odds would have told you that Dallas would have not had a much better season with Dak Prescott last year. They just didn't look very good. Here's the thing. He goes out in week 5. He has worked. We get here, and now he's dealing with a nagging injury that, to me, now I'm going to start the narrative. Yes, me. I'm going to start it. I'm bold enough. I'm brave enough to say it. I've had enough compensating injuries to say I tore my Achilles tendon on, coincidentally, ironically, on the same knee that I had to keep getting cleaned up with cartilage, that I had cartilage issues with. Okay, I'm going to sit here and say to myself, if I'm fighting through compensation injuries right now, and the season has not even started. It has not even started. And I don't know what's coming next because I have not played, which means I have not had the opportunity to truly prepare. I can't sit here and of a sound mind say that I believe you can bank on him rocking and rolling and having this breakout year or continuing where he left off, which he did have some high throwing statistics, very hidden, very skewed in terms of relevance because they had to pass the ball because of how far they were behind in point total deficit-wise. So to me, when I look at Dak Prescott, I say we cannot get too far gone on thinking that he's a world beater as a player because he wasn't really a world beater as a player before the injury. So now we're looking at him after the injury, and he's already dealing with that injury connected to the other injury that was repaired. I just don't think that you can get so far gone in thinking that, oh, the offensive line is back this year. They said that last year. Oh, Ezekiel Elliott. They paid Ezekiel Elliott. What did Ezekiel Elliott do? Nothing.
Career high in fumbles.
In fact, we don't even know what Ezekiel Elliott is going to be this year. We've looked at what is Amari Cooper going to be this year. Hasn't Amari Cooper had to deal with and fight through the same type of stuff that everybody else is fighting through on this team? We have no idea what the entire whole of this team is going to be. We think Dan Quinn has made a move and made this defense better. But what will the defense be? They got a great draft pick. Of course they got a great draft pick. But what will this defense be? There are so many factors and elements connected to Dak Prescott's success on rocking and rolling that might not even be in his control, let alone to think that he has not even really had an opportunity to prepare. I'll drop the mic right there. I'll turn it over to the jury and the judge.
Well, let me just quickly ask you before we go to break here.
Yeah.
So you're very down on Dallas, but I'm
not down on them. I'm just saying I wouldn't be so far up. Like, give them the opportunity to show what they're going to be because we really don't know what Dallas is going to be. It could be a upper. It could be a really high, but it could be a really low with Dallas.
A lot of the analytics and the gambling projections have Dallas to win the division.
Yeah.
Dak is one of the MVP favorites because he was when he was healthy heading into last year. So why are we so down on them when the only reason to be down, LaVar, is if the offensive line isn't healthy, if Ezekiel Elliott fumbles? Let's just look at everything.
If they can break the trend of losing. Okay. There you go.
If their defense is going to be better.
Says it's
if Dak Prescott is actually 100%.
in Green Bay.